if you think that forecasting is the soul of astrology, if you think that the stone of astrology comes from the idea of being able to forecast events, or if you think there's something else that keeps astrology working and moving forward. So I don't know if Mary or Kristina want to start.
Maybe Mary can start.
I think people expect astrologers to forecast. I think that's a given. And even if they are not wanting to forecast too far into the future, most people want to know, how long is this going to last? So I think forecasting for me in my private practice is very important for that reason. But I expect most people expect that's what astrologers do, that they're going to tell you you're going to do this, that, and the other, which you might, and there again, you might not. And I think it's a pity that a lot of people don't actually know what a birth chart is. I was talking to somebody today and they just thought that they were a Gemini, and I went, no, you might have a moon sign or ascendant or a Mercury. There'll be other things in your chart just than your sun sign. And the nice thing about being able to forecast for people is that you can give them hope about a situation that they might be in. But I come from a practice that I'm mostly dealing with people that have some sort of issue or other. But I think as a general rule, knowing how long something's going to last or what's going to happen tomorrow is informative for people, because maybe they can prepare for it. Like, for instance, Saturn's transiting through the sign of Pisces, and I'm a Pisces. And I remember what happened. Saturn did that last time. That was my ex-husband ran off with another woman. So I'm hoping this time it doesn't happen again. But, you know, we can learn from past transits and we can explore future ones. But I think it is very, very important for astrologers to, have an understanding of the future and also to be able to help the general public with it.
Okay, so for you, it is one of the, because you said that your clients tend to ask you a lot about that.
Yes. Yeah.
So it becomes very important. What about you, Kristina?
I have a slightly different view. Maybe it's because I started my astrological journey quite later than Mary. I think forecasting is important when, first and foremost, we identify the potential in the birth chart. So for me, astrology is more about know thyself, know your possibilities and potential. Because what I've seen with myself, family members, relatives and friends, was that sometimes we tend to repeat the patterns in our chart when we don't realize and learn from the lessons there, which limits the forecasting possibilities. So I'll give you an example. As a person with a Grand Cross in my chart, I've encountered the following situation. I've been trying to escape from specific situations which I didn't like, and I tended to encounter similar patterns and trends in completely new settings. So when I started learning lessons from the past, I started escaping from these trends and improving on the transits and the forecasting in itself. So for me, when we know our potential and our possibilities, we are able to upgrade, so to speak, the possibilities of our future.
Because I think this is what's tricky about the idea of forecasting. When you're born, you get a natal chart. Okay, like you're saying, you get a natal chart with some patterns. And Mary was also saying, like, sometimes people are more worried about the forecasting than learning about their chart. And the motion that the planets will take is set at that moment when you're born. So it doesn't matter what you do in your life. Like, it doesn't matter. It is decided at the moment, not decided, but at the moment that you're born, you can actually make a list of all of the hugest, most important transits you're going to have in the rest of your life, right? So it feels like you don't really have so much choice.
Yes, but it's how you tackle those transits, surely, if you've got an understanding of them.
Okay.
And to map out somebody's total life with a transit, I mean, we're not going to know from when they're born to what age they're going to live to.
That's a good question. Do you think that we could predict when somebody's going to die?
No.
It's not ethical, first and foremost, and we can see some aspects, but in the end we can only see the death in the chart once it occurs.
I absolutely agree with that. You can't predict when somebody's going to die. I mean, I've watched people die, and I've looked, because I'm elderly myself, I'm in my 60s, so I have watched people die, and I have kept an eye on what the transits were doing at that moment in time. It might be Jupiter that helps them go to the other side. It might be Pluto. It might just be the sun. But I think it's wrong to make predictions about death. Nobody knows when they're going to die. They'll have a vague idea, but I absolutely agree that it's unethical to do that. And that's not what transit's about. I think transits, for me, I think they're more about, sort of ups and downs that are going to happen in your life. I mean, I like the transit rhythmogram that astro.com uses. I don't know if it comes in other software, but it looks like a sort of a heart monitor thing, and you can see each planet and how active it's going to be in your chart. Is this going to be a really active month for you with various different transits, or is it going to be something quiet? And I think that's very helpful for people, because you can go quite far into the future. I think it's about 5 years in advance that you can go. So this might be a quiet year, and next year might be a busy year. I mean, you yourself, you're a Taurus, so you're going to have Uranus transiting somewhere or other in your chart, and your sun sign, your Mercury or whatever. So there'll be times when Uranus is exactly conjunct your sun sign, like, everything's all over the place, or it could be exciting. And people deal with transits differently. Some people like a Uranus transit. I loved it when it happened to me. Other people hate it. It depends on the person.
Yeah, it's true, because I think when Saturn transits, I used to love them, and people are usually, because a lot of good things happen to me on Saturn transits.